exactly comparison. So where exactly ADF comes into the picture and what we are going to do, those all things yesterday we have discussed as a demo part. I'll just open once. So this is just maybe yesterday we haven't discussed Dell as it is, but still the image is different. So we got like the end users, like high level I'm giving, high level for just 5 minutes I'll give high level yesterday's concept, and we'll go to the today's concept also. Okay. So we got like end users. End users means customers like you and me to any business. Today we are doing online business. So we might use e-commerce website or we use some applications. So these applications will have access to this what database. So this database we are going to have access, and we are storing different tables, and these tables will have relationships. And the business data which we are landing in the parent and child relationship. So to maintain history, we go for OLAP, which is a warehouse, and the data which is in transactional way, we are converting that into the dimensional way. So that is the main purpose of ETL is to pull the data from OLTP servers and load the data into the OLAP servers. So OLTP means online transaction processing. OLAP means online analytical processing system. So it's nothing but data warehouse. It's nothing but RDBMS. The source is nothing but RDBMS. So mainly we maintain history in warehouse to analyze the business. So to analyze the business, we required what? We required history. So the history database, whatever we have, the data we are trying to maintain, and we are trying to generate that reports in the textual form, and from textual formats to graphical representation in such a way. So this whole process is called as BI. BI means what? Business intelligence. So data warehousing is the part of BI environment. So BI means what? Business intelligence. So ETL plus reporting is nothing but data warehouse flow. The ETL plus reporting, these two combination when we have, we can go for a role like data warehouse technician. Okay, when we are perfect. So now this whole process is going to convert into the on cloud services. Okay, that is later part for now. So now yesterday the whole BI environment I have discussed, and what is in and out. These reports we are going to share to the end users, who are called BDMs, business development managers. One side end user is who? The customer, you and me. The people who utilize the business is the starting. There are the business developers, end users. The people who analyze the business of the client is another business end user. Okay. So we are going to be the solution in the back end as a ETL developer, as a reporting developer. So we are going to pull the data which is in transactional way into the summarized way to generate reports like this using reporting tool. We are pulling the data from warehouse. Who is putting the data into the warehouse? Who is loading the data into warehouse? ETL. From where we are loading? From SQL. SQL means what? RDBMS, which is transactional data. Day-to-day business data will store in this database. We are extracting that kind of data. We are doing transforming according to generate these reports and loading the data into warehouse. From here, we are generating the reports. This is all about the BI process. To implement the BI process, what are the skills we required? One is ETL flow, one is reporting. So ETL flow is the main concept which we are discussing as a Azure data engineer or data factory engineer, as a data factory developer. So Azure data factory developer. So today, I'm going to focus on ETL flow completely. How this ETL flow we are going to work in the environment. In your environment, work environment, how we are going to work with the ETL flow, that we are going to talk today as part of our second session. I'm going to talk about ETL flow. Of course, it is also a demonstration, but here we'll come to know what is the ETL architecture. Yesterday, data warehouse architecture, the whole business, the whole process, project process you can talk. Today we are talking about purely about ETL, purely about ETL. So what are the different layers of ETL we have? So for suppose I have the front end end users from different location. As I said yesterday also, like I got India, the person who works in India as a customer, and I got like US region customer, I got like Europe region customer. Now these customers might use any kind of device, any kind of device. So here I'm just going to talk about ETL flow, ETL architecture. So you people can just concentrate on the topic, because these all things we are going to implement once we complete the ADF course. We are going to implement using ADF. Whatever I'm showing you today, these all things we have to talk in the, we have to implement practically in the ADF. So assume that I have one of the customer who is using mobile, and he is doing some business or doing some purchases to my business. And some other person I am using like tab, some other person like laptop. So these are the multi-variety devices these people are using to talk, to do business or do shopping in Amazon, to do shopping in Amazon. Yesterday I mentioned like one of the business Amazon. I'll still continue with that same, with the same. So here I have the business now. So the customers are using various devices like tab. So now the data which is coming from a mobile, assume that I'm just having some dependencies. So Amazon is storing like this. For example, the people who are using mobiles, their data is coming and storing in the form of text. They are coming in the form of text. So the data from the source can be any kind of source like this. The source data can store in any kind of source like this. For example, some part of data is coming and falling in the form of Excel sheets. Some data is coming in the form of text. Some data is coming in the form of Excel. Some data is coming in the form of JSON. And these all are the non-DB sources. These all are the non-DB sources. And of course, the data of the OLTP is also landing in the DB also. For example, like Oracle SQL Server, these are two different databases. Means here, this data of the business of Amazon, the business data, the front users, customers, whoever registering, whoever purchasing, whoever exchanging, whoever returning, all these products information, all these transaction information storing in variety sources. So now these all variety sources are going to land into my Oracle server. I mean OLTP server, not Oracle server especially, OLTP server. So as I said, OLTP, these all variety of different data sources will land onto the OLTP server. So this is landing area. Normally, if you go for any ETL in the work environment, you have to know first of all what is the landing area. Means your source files will come and fall into the OLTP server. I said OLTP server means what kind of data it will have? It will have the transactional data. OLTP is also called as what? RDBMS. If you people are able to recognize when I'm saying RDBMS, please try to make sure that tomorrow onwards, if I'm talking as OLTP, you should equivalently, we have to remember that I'm talking about RDBMS. So OLTP is the real-time word that we have to learn terminology. So now the OLTP server is storing all the business data of the client, whoever, which client I'm talking about, Amazon. So Amazon client's data I'm storing in various sources in a DB and non-DB sources like this, right? So now Tell me in Excel, do we have data types? Yes, we have data types. What data types? Number, general, decimal, date, text. Like this, we have some data types. In text format, do we have text notepad? We can have any date formats, data types? No, we don't have any data types. In XML, yes. Again, in JSON and SQL Server DB, yes, we have. So these all variety of the various sources of the client's business data, we have to land it into one place. We have to land it into one place because my Excel is having a text, but SQL Server is having a varchar. For suppose Oracle is having varchar. So the data types are different. And textual is not having any data type. Even number also store as a text in this text format. Date also can store as a text format. So now what I want to do, I want to integrate these all various sources into one particular source. So that is called nothing but staging area. That is nothing but that is called as staging area. So the staging area means nothing but temporary area. Means what? The source, how the data is there in the landing area with various sources. The source business data is coming and falling into this landing area. So we are going to make these various data sources into a single source. That is the main advantage of extraction. So we are going to place into the staging area. So this is called as temporary area. This is one thing we have to know about. It is a temporary area. So what I am doing in the staging area, nothing, just I am placing the copy of the sources into one particular area with all variety sources. Srinivas is asking, Srinivas Kumar. See, OLTP data means it's a server, OLTP server. It can be a database only. What I'm talking, the type of data. Srinivas is asking, first data in different format is stored into RDBMS called as OLTP, or data in Excel is also called as OLTP. See, I'm talking about the nature of the data. Nature means what? Transactional data. The business transactions. If you look into that data, what you are understanding is nothing but the nature of the data. So you'll understand the customer information. You will understand what that customer is purchased. You will understand whether that customer purchased customer or it is going to return or it is going to exchange or return. Means to run the business, the data will help. That kind of data is called as transactional data. So that kind of data, whatever you have, that is nothing but your OLTP, means transactional data, day-to-day transactions. So transactional data is nothing but storing in OLTP. So OLTP is a database server. Okay, OLTP is a database only. If really the transactional data is storing in OLTP, that is our OLTP server. Okay, but what I'm mentioning is, when I'm mentioning Excel, the way of the data which is storing, for suppose if you see, I'll show you one data. I'll show you some data sets here. Now I'm going to have one Excel sheet. I have the data in Excel format, but what kind of data is it? It is a business transactional data. I have that various, it is not database data, it is a business data. What kind of data formats I have, data types I have? Number I have, general I have, and I have text. I don't have varchar, I don't have integer, I don't have like date and timestamps, like time, long time, short term, like this I have. These data types are different. It is a non-DB, but the data nature is OLTP. The storing is in Excel. When you have the data, the same data in a database, of course, it is called as OLTP. But what I'm mentioning here is, it's all about storing in any place, either DB or non-DB. The nature of the data is OLTP data, means transactional data. So that data, what we are going to do, we are going to extract. And what transformation I'm doing? Nothing, just simply copying. And what I'm doing, loading into this particular storage. This is called all what? Who is going to do this process? This process is going to be done by Azure Data Factory as an ETL tool, as a ETL resource, we are going to implement this concept using Azure Data Factory. So what is the concept of loading the data from source to the landing area to the staging area? Who is going to do? ETL. So what is ETL? We know extraction, transformation, and load. So we are extracting the data from landing area of different formats. That is the power of extraction. For now, the transformation is just simply copy transformation. I'm not doing much. And what I'm doing, I'm loading it into where? Into the staging area. The staging area can be configured again with any kind of source. It can be a database. It can be, of course, it should be a database. So it can be any database, or it can be. So for example, I'll tell you for example, just for basic, I can configure Azure Data Lake Storage. When we are going to call as Azure Data Engineer, when we are going to usage all these Azure Data Lake Storage, Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 2, sorry, no Gen 3, Gen 2. So ADLS, I'll just mention as that. The staging area is configured as Azure Data Lake Storage. So what I mean to say, the first layer using ADF, what we are doing, we are taking the data which is in landing area that we are placing into the staging area. This is one of the ETL flow. What I am doing, nothing, just simply copying. I am integrating, if you can say like various data source formats in the landing area, we are converting into single format in the ADLS. Okay, that is one of the flow that we have done. Next, okay, now all the various data sources I got into ADLS. What is the business I'm talking about? I'm talking about Amazon. I'm talking about the business of Amazon. So now, what I'm going to do, the next type, the next concept, I'm going to place into ODS layer. I'm going to flow the data into ODS layer. What is meant by ODS? What kind of data would be storing in the ODS? So that is all about operational data store. But definitely you'll come to know about these terminologies like staging, ODS, landing, these all things are in the coming sessions. For now, just if you have any question. So here, what data we'll have is, we'll have the validated data. I'll tell you what is meant by validation. The staging area will have, it is a temporary area called, and it is like validated. Okay, what kind of transformations will happen? Again, who is going to load from staging area to ODS? Again, Azure Data Factory only. As an ETL developer, we have to know these all things. So what we are going to do while loading from ODS to, from staging to ODS, what all we are going to do? I said in ODS, what kind of data would be there? Validated data. What is meant by validated? I'll tell you. For example, if you go for business, Amazon is having how many manufacturers? There are a lot of manufacturers in Amazon. Am I right? We have different manufacturers like Samsung, and if you are able to purchase like MI phone, and MI phone again, Samsung is one manufacturer, MI phone is one manufacturer. In the refrigerators, we have like Godrej. ACs, we have like O General, and we have Samsung there also. And we have a lot of products like in the mobile section, like OnePlus, iPhone, and we have a lot of products, right? So these all products Amazon is selling. Now Amazon want to calculate from which manufacturer how much business you have to receive, means amount, what kind of amount you have to receive. So for that I want to do calculation, means for example, Amazon is selling a product. You to look like what happens as your customer, Who is selling you the product? You might feel like you are getting product from Amazon, but Amazon is manufacturing them. No, Amazon is a just a, if you can say, it is a temporary place where you can manufacturer come and place their products, where you customers will go and purchase those products. The manufacturer will have the Amazon delivery team, so that delivery team is coming and delivering the product to you. Now Amazon want to get its commission from the manufacturers. Correct or not? Amazon is working based on the commission. So Samsung is going to give some commission based on their sales. So now Amazon, Samsung phone, again these manufacturers, the dealers are many. Samsung is not directly coming and selling. Again, dealers will be there for Amazon, for Samsung, I'm sorry. Now, so which dealer I'm getting what kind of sales, I have to know. So then what I have to do? Amazon manufacturing is giving, manufacturing team, the delivery team, manufacturing team, the vendor is giving, like Amazon. I have placed 18 products for the month of June. In the month of June, I have placed 18 products, 18 mobiles on your Amazon store. I got sale of 15. For each product, the commission is, for example, 100 rupees per suppose, just for example, I'm saying. Now, this Amazon should get how much from this vendor, from this dealer? 18 products when it placed, for each product 100 rupees is the commission, then 15 sales are happened. So 1500 Amazon has to get from dealer one. For example, D1 is the dealer one. Like that, there are multiple dealers. So now, according to the dealer information, what Amazon has to do, it has to take the sales information. So the data while loading from staging to ODS, what it should do? It should validate based on the, the data, transactional data based on the products which is placed on the server by the dealer. And the customer who purchased those products, those information we have to validate. And next, who is the supplier? That supplier information I have to maintain. And from which location? This I have to validate. For example, I'll have the date also. I did not mention the date. This product, this customer, this supplier, and the location which are coming is the master data. The data which is coming from the ADLS, which is in the form of staging area, that would be the transactional data, means the sales data. The customers are purchasing from this mobile. The dealer is giving some information to Amazon. Amazon is validating these two now. The validated data means Amazon dealer is saying 18 products I have produced on your screen, on your website. I got sale of 15. If that is valid or not, I want to validate. Correct or not? Amazon will not lose 1 rupee also. So it has to get validated. Really, if everything is fine, the validated data for that particular dealer, I have to get 15 sales. After completion of validation, we load the data into ODS. ODS. ODS means what? Operational data store. So this is your, again, we can place the ODS in the form of Azure data lake storage. Maybe Gen 1 would be the staging area. Gen 2 can be the, it's a just sample. It's not really fixed. It's not like really we do, but generally I'm showing you what all the data sources or the resources we have, those all we are just placing. That's it. Okay. So now we got like the ODS also. So ODS data is having what kind of information? Validated. Really this dealer one, D1 is placed 18 products or not? How many got sold? These all validations will happen here. The validated data will come into this ODS. So while loading the data from ODS to, from ODS, operational data store. Okay. So now the data is coming from ODS to, next it can go for staging. It can go for, so who is going to, now here the transformations are what? Now the transformations are validating, means we have to use like lookup, one of the major important transformation. Maybe you can perform some data transformation like exits. This is also one of the transformation. I'm talking about ADF terminology. There are transformations which will perform these lookup validations. Lookup can perform, exist can perform. There are like some other like joins we can take, so we can do with multiple ways, but in which case we will go, that is your technical term. So now these 15 rows came here. Now I have to calculate on what price they are selling and what is the commission we have to get. Those all calculations should happen. And now next time this dealer, Amazon want to suggest this dealer keep how many products, like for next July month, June month 18 is done, 15 got sale. Amazon will suggest now dealer one do place these many products in the store so that you'll get more sales. I want to encourage this dealer to manufacture more and place in the store like 20 plus so that you'll get more sales. How Amazon is doing that? Amazon is going to perform some like history process, means it is going to analyze the business. So last year you have given the sales, the same month, July month, like you, there is another dealer who is getting like 20 sales for this June month, July month, coming month. So you also try to place 20 products so that you will get sale of all the 20, so that the Amazon can get the commission. Correct or not? So how this validation, how these decisions are happening? It can be data, it can be Venkat, it can be data we can store in data table format, DB format, non-DB format also. We'll configure that. We can configure that either way. Blob storage we can use. Okay, that we will come into the ADF concept. ADLS means Azure Data Lake Storage, Gen 1, Gen 2. There are two different sources where we can store in DB, non-DB sources as well. It's not a warehouse. We don't want to configure as warehouse. Okay. So now the validate data we are going to take, and what we are going to do? We are going to maintain as what? We are going to maintain the dimensions. So maybe if I'm talking about dimension, it will be very new to now because we are in the starting sessions. So DB DM1, data mart 1. So dimension, I said data mart. How the data mart will be generated means using dimensions and facts. How these dimensions and facts will be there means, again, those all things are data warehousing concepts. We will talk about the first these concepts, and next we will go further. So for now, DM means data mart. Data mart maintains the history data to analyze the business. This is only the thing you just remember for now. Later on, we will talk more in detail. Okay. So now what we are doing here, we are maintaining history and we are analyzing the data. So SCD, slowly changing dimensions, we are going to maintain, and we are using type 2. And what we are going to do, we are going to maintain history of this. And what we are doing with this history, we are generating the dimensions. What happened? We have to do implement type 2 to take decisions. What happened? Amazon is asking this D1 dealer to do what? In the July month, try to keep 20 products ready so that they can sell. Because in the last year, July month, there are 25 sales happened for the other dealer. So that if you also place, you also can get the same sales. More than that, you can get the sales. It is like estimation. It might be correct, it might be wrong. That is different case. But how the Amazon is taking that decision? Based on the maintaining history and maintaining, based on that history, maintaining the type 2. Type 2 means what? Current plus historical data. So these are going to generate in where? In the form of data marts. What is data mart? Definitely you don't know now. I'll talk about these things before going to ADF. I'll talk of all these things. Okay. So now after completion of data marts, what we are going to do? We are going to maintain all this data in a warehouse. We are going to maintain all this data in the warehouse. So I got a question. I'll just take it up. So the warehouse, which is in the Azure cloud, we are going to configure, and finally we are going to maintain a warehouse in the site. So these are the different layers that we have to maintain as a ETL developer. Of course, but it is a subpart of data warehouse, Venkat. It's not the actual warehouse. It's a subpart, means some part of warehouse we can say. But for now, what is warehouse? What is data mart? These all things definitely I'll talk. Data warehousing concepts which we have, which will help us to understand how this data warehouse will be constructed. Okay. So this is the whole ETL flow that we have to know. No, data marts we can extract, we can pull the data marts from the data warehouse, or from the data marts we can construct the data warehouse, Srinivas. It's not like data marts will maintain inside the data warehouse is wrong. Data marts will be separate. That is a separate server. That is separate. Or that is sub part. It's not the part of warehouse. Okay. So bottom to top approach, top to bottom approach, we have again to talk, to know about data marts and data warehouse. These approaches are important again. So these all things are day to day we'll get. So on the topic which we discussed today, is it clear? I just want to make sure like what is ETL flow is the main concept that which I am talking today, the ETL flow. So the real time use case we have taken. So where we are going to use what resource. Even in the implementation of the data marts also, we are going to use ADF. We are going to implement type 1, type 2, type 3. Type 1 means current data, type 2 means current place historical, type 3 means what? Type 3 means partial history. So data marts we implement as a star schema, snowflake schema. These all are modeling concepts. Whatever really I'm talking, you don't know anything for now. I will tell you what all those things I'm talking. In detail, you'll come to know very clear picture you'll have in the coming sessions. So any questions from this topic for today? This is all our people will ask you in interviews. What is your ETL architecture? You can talk about this. What is your project architecture? Yesterday I discussed. What is your ETL architecture? Today I have discussed. Okay. So this is staging area is nothing but a temporary area. Temporary area. So I got some question. 1 second. Can we get daily notes? Kala is Kala. Notes means maybe you'll get the session to watch so that you can go ahead and practice. For the concepts, maybe not daily, maybe the completion of the concept I'll give you. Okay. No, daily I cannot share, but once our data warehousing concept is done, I'll share you that particular notes. And in the portal you can download it. And after completion of SQL, we'll have Edu data factory. We'll complete of activities. Then you will get those data. So not daily, but still all the topics you will have the data material. That is what I can daily notes. It's not running notes kind of thing. Okay. So any other? You'll have a session, watchable session. You can watch after the class completion. You'll have some access time duration you'll have, and nowhere problem. Yeah, Venkata, as I said, it's too early to talk, but still I just opened up. So I'm just completing type 1, type 2, type 3. These are going to be maintenance. We are going to maintain the data in the warehouse in such a way. Type 1 or type 2 or type 3 means only the current data if you maintain, that is type 1. Type 2 means current plus historical data. Type 3 means current plus partial history. For example, if you go to gas connection, they'll ask you what is the previous connection, where did you use it, that's it. But they'll not ask previous to that where you used it. So that's why that is like type 3. But if you go to type 2, what all the history you have to maintain means from 5 years onwards, where are you? For example, if you are working for TCS, if you got a job of the TCS will ask you from last 10 years, where are you? Where you are staying? This all, that is type 2. And next, SQL warehouse and SQL Azure, both SQL are same or difference. SQL server is on premises, Azure SQL is cloud services. Queries writing and all will be same. Here and there, some syntactical changes will be there. Apart from that, yeah, we can use them. So SQL server is purely on premises. Okay, so Devanika, Monica. If we have current place, Venkat is asking type 3 means only current and previous. One previous means they can be multiple history. I worked in Bangalore, I worked in Chennai, I worked in Mumbai, I worked in Hyderabad. Like this 4 to 5 cities I worked. But some cases I'll use only the current where I'm staying, previous to this where I work. That's it. Where is type 2 means from day one where I am working, from starting of my current IT experience, where I worked. Those all listing is nothing but complete history. Yeah, type 2, that is type 2. Monica is asking if you have any queries, we need to ask chat itself, or Yeah. Yeah. Unmute session will be there, Monica. Definitely, it's not only the chat. But thing is, what I will do, what we will do, we will have the session first, and at the end, we will have 10 to 15 minutes. We'll keep for the questions. That we can unmute you, no problem. But today we have some number of people. If all together, if they unmute, no, we cannot answer one by one. That is the only reason we are just keeping chatting. But once we go further and once we get all the batch form and everything completion, no, then we will have last 10 to 15 minutes section time. We will take it as a question hour. We can answer your questions. Okay. So at that time you'll get definitely unmute. Okay. No need to worry. To learn Azure Data Factory, in which one we have to know SQL Server. SQL Azure is mandatory, Harish, first. And yeah, SQL Server. See, when I say SQL Server, if you know SQL Server, for example, Oracle is also simple. Like Oracle, synthetically, using a Samsung mobile, you got practiced. His iPhone is typical. You have to take training on iPhone, something not required. Smartphone is one time it is new, but once you use anything, either Samsung, Lenovo, whatever it is, but the storages, those all things are different again. Those all things will, I mean, I'll cover in Azure SQL Server. I'll talk about in SQL Server also. I'll talk in Azure Data Factory. Mainly, we have to focus on Azure SQL Server as well. Okay. So to migrate the SQL Server also, we can convert into this cloud. So Naveen is asking what is SCD type 1? Current data, only just current data. Snowflake is also boom. So how different from ADF? See, Snowflake is purely storage, Monica. It's not relevant to ADF. ADF will try to dump the data into Snowflake. ADF is the component which will pull the data from various sources. Either, as I said here, if you see my screen, I'm sorry. I don't think I'm able to share. I'm able to share my screen, I guess now, right? So here, if you see at the finally we have warehouse, right? SQL warehouse. This can be a Snowflake, but ADF is the part of pulling this data from the source of various sources and loading into Snowflake here. So this can be a Snowflake. But nowhere there is no comparison with ADF and Snowflake. Snowflake is a database. It is a schema actually in the warehouse also. But Snowflake is a database now, cloud database, where you can store the data, history data. It's not nowhere relevant with ADF and all. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, Hari, correct me. What about that? Databricks also is a cloud based. Then what is difference means? Data Factory is a GUI tool. GUI means graphical user interface, drag and drop options. Then what is Databricks means? Command line. You have to go with Python, PySpark and all we have to write. So that means Snowflake is a database. Yeah, correct. Snowflake is means there is a schema in a warehouse. That schema can be designed using Snowflake database as well. One, I'm making sure Snowflake is a database, correct? Cloud database. It's not on-premises database, it's a cloud database. Yeah, correct. Exactly, Venkat. So Venkat is saying like staging area means taking all the formats. See, I mentioned one of the use case. Taking all the source various formats into single format. That is exactly the staging area, temporary area we call it. Various sources data we integrate and we place it into one place. Mostly we use for staging area the same. Correct. That is also correct. Okay then. If you people have any more questions, just park for 2 to 3 minutes. I'll just connect to ADF. You people just give me reply like whether you are able to see my Azure account. I'm just opening Azure account. Are you able to see the same, or do you people have any other different screen viewing in my screen in my laptop? Yeah, that's what I think. I have to stop the screen and I want to share it. Yeah, now it should change. I'm in my Azure cloud resource. Yes, Lakshman. Thanks, Monica. Yeah. Yeah. So coming to this Azure cloud, whatever I discussed, so they are purely different from one resource to another resource. As I said, this staging area we are going to configure with Azure Data Lake storage. So you have to configure with storage accounts. So for example, if you go to create a resource, and these all are the list of resources that we have in Azure. For example, what is a cloud? Anyone have such question? Because first of all, I have to answer what is the cloud first. For example, you have a gated community and you have multiple blocks, A to A, B, C, D, E blocks, like 5 blocks I have. This 5 blocks is having 5 floors and each floor is having 10 flats. Understood, right? There is a gated community with 5 blocks. Within the 5 blocks, it is having 5 floors. Within the 5 floor, each floor we have 10 flats, means 10 families can stay. Now, the maintenance of this gated community is providing a generator. And it is asking these all people to pay monthly the service charge so and so that they can provide the power once the power is off. If any power cut is there, then it will off, it will on the generator and supply the power to these flats. That is one way. That is another way. The other way, you have to purchase inverter and you have to place in your home. So some people feel better taking generator support from the maintenance. Some people feel that inverter is the best due to some reasons. So the cloud and on-premises is the same. The cloud means generator from the maintenance office. Means the maintenance means who now, according to my example, Microsoft is one of the maintenance office, as I mentioned example. Because cloud service provider, these are. Google Cloud we have. And Amazon Web Services we have. So imagine these all are the service providers. So they are going to give the infrastructure for you. That means you are giving your data to them, definitely. So some people says, what happens if you have the support from the maintenance office, nothing but you are going to not to occupy anything, any space in your home for that inverter. There is no maintenance. For example, there is a power cut. The generator is in, the inverter is, now you are getting the service of inverter. After power is back, inverter has to recharge again. That is your power bill. And again, if that inverter get any problem, all of a sudden the digital water should be, it is a lake of water. Then what you have to do? You have to pour, you have to give that water. Or else if it got any repair, you have to do maintenance. These all things you have to take on your own. But if you take a support from the generator, from the maintenance, do you have to take these all things? No, not required. Just monthly you will pay the pay. They will take all care. Correct or not? So the such way, Azure also is one of the cloud which will provide. For example, you purchased a laptop. Now you have to start installing your softwares which you required. Correct or not? From MS Office, first basic software. Next, you will go for your own skill. For example, MSBA, SSIS, or else Power BI. Like that, you have to install one by one. But now Microsoft is setting that laptop for you. It's not asking, it is not saying, but only the laptop is required and good speed of network is required. No need to install your softwares in your local machine. You can access the mobile also. So that what will happen? It will provide all the resources. You don't need to install again. You have to configure that resource. So these are all the list of resources that we have. If you go to any organization also, organization will give you some link. The common softwares that you have to install in your laptop. In that link, that server you have to connect. Once you connect to the server, it will list out you like this only. Or what all the software is required under database you have to install, you can show here. It will show here. What all the software is required in the integration part, it will show you here. What all the software analytical part you required, those all it will show you here. So like this, various sources you can install. You can go and install, which are license free, open source, which are listed in that companies. But now Microsoft is providing all these software services in the cloud. So you can just configure that resource and you can start working on it. And at the month, you will get a bill. So where do you find that bill? Means you have the subscriptions. When I subscribe in a free account or in a pay-as-you-go account, I'll get a bill. So you'll have very clear picture. No need to worry about anything. Now, if you go and do pay-as-you-go account, you'll see the billing time as well. I got some this date, July 9th, my billing started. And 8th of August, again, my billing end. Means that day I'll get the bill. So it is giving the actual price and it is giving the estimated price also, forecast. These graphs all are analytical part. What are the resources you used, how much charge it is happening, those all things it is showing you list. So you have to use in care so that unnecessarily if you use automatically, you should off and on the services on the time so that you'll not get any pay. So first 1 month you'll get free. Free in the sense it's not free. The total 13,000 or 14,000 amount, it will be credited into your account. So where that you can use that 1 month, those amount. So then you will come to know how the billing is happening and all. So you can be habituated to work on it and you can see what are the charges applicable. So next you can go for pay-as-you-go account. So once you got this account, then you have to configure some storage accounts, and the ADF resource. So this is my name and it's a BA for me, I said. So storage accounts is what? To store the data which is in either a textual format. You can just see here. I have the containers in the storage account again. That data can store in the blob service and all. See now, the 2 containers I have stored as import file. So we have some textual data which I stored, which I uploaded from my local machine. I have got local extracted in my local machine, from my local machine. Okay. So next, if I go for ADF, I'm into say ADF resource. Yes, Monica, you don't need to worry about the charges on the, they'll give you some cloud resources. That's it. You'll have cloud resource account details. You have to log in and you have to start working. They will give you all the setup already. No, you don't need to worry about. Even we have to configure here as we are a learner today, but in the work environment, they will be configuring all the resources which are required for the project. So how to configure and all, I'll talk in step-by-step process, everything, not only ADF, what all the required supporting skills, supporting resources and all, those all will be given by the client itself. You don't need to worry. The charges and all these things will be taken care by the client itself. No. Employee related means to practice. If you are working in an organization, there is a Visual Studio account subscription where you can get from your company. Okay. So that is one of the subscription we have where you will get from company, your company, that your working company. So if Microsoft Azure, they are associated with, you will get a free account. You can work on that. You can practice on that. But you have to check with your company or team that you are Microsoft, you have, there is a association is there or not. Sometimes, Srinivas, we cannot guarantee you that they will not ask. Definitely they'll ask, but it is not our responsibility. But it's like, do you have knowledge or not? People might ask you. So definitely they'll ask. But of course, not mandatory question it is not mandatory question. But still, if people might ask, you can give a proper answer. We will talk on that. Okay. Yeah. Next, So coming back to my Azure Data Factory, I'm just opening it. So you can use a Azure Data Factory to implement this ETL flow. Whatever I discussed, this whole flow, the storage accounts and warehouse systems, and even Snowflake also you can configure in Azure. Azure Snowflake is a cloud-based database where you can get as a resource in Azure also, and in actually Azure SQL is separate. SQL is Snowflake is a separate warehouse database. If you see Snowflake, so you can configure Snowflake also. It is a database, Azure database. I mean, Snowflake is a data warehouse database. You can configure data warehouse. Okay, so that is one of the resources. And from Snowflake cloud service also you can configure into Azure. Srinivas, Snowflake is a schema in data warehouse perspective, but Snowflake itself is a new database resource, a cloud database resource. Again, there are two. One is Snowflake, which is a schema which you are going to talk in data warehouse. And the Snowflake again itself is a cloud database that is a separate, that is data warehouse database. You can configure in that Snowflake database either star schema or Snowflake schema, whatever it is. The model of, see, star and Snowflake is nothing but modeling of the data warehouse. Okay, so last two questions I'll just show you once the ADF flow today, and the last 2-3 questions if people can ask, we'll try to wind up today and we'll continue in the tomorrow session. So tomorrow plan to talk about ADF only. How ADF is going to work, how ADF is going to configure the pipelines, what all the activities we have, why should we use activities. Now, yesterday we discussed about BI process. Today we are discussing about purely ETL process. Tomorrow we are going to talk about ADF completely. Tomorrow I'll just show you all the ADF resources, and all resources are called software services which are provided cloud like Rajesh. See, Rajesh BI is my name, like which I given on my own, the resource name. It's a ADF resource, Azure Data Factory resource. Software services, correct. Of course, resources are also can be aliased. I mean, when you locally install in your machine, that is a software. But when you configure in the cloud, it is a service resource. Okay. So tomorrow, completely we'll focus on ADF. In and out of ADF, we'll talk. Okay. So any quick questions if you have, you people can ask, else we are good to leave. Yeah, correct. Example. Okay, Venkat. Yeah, fine, man. No problem. So this is all about today's session. And so yesterday you people have some links, right? And till if anyone haven't provided your information, you people can provide today in the WhatsApp or like in the other link also. And if you provide, that should be fine. People will contact you, our team. Okay. So we're good to leave. I'm just stopping the screen share. Any questions? Quick questions from anyone?